Hey guys, this is Steve again with StarquestParts.net. Getting ready to remove a dash. I've done it several times. It's not that big of a deal, but I'm not going to do everything in this video, but I'm at least going to show you guys what all you have to take apart in order to get the dash off. So here we go. All right, everybody, dash removal. I've gotten a couple things out of here already, so I won't go through the entire process, but again, the goal here is to let you know really where the access points are for the different screws and bolts that are needed and the order in which to go. Which is not written in stone, but this should hopefully at least give you a good guide to how to remove a dash. So first thing you want to do is take off your steering wheel. Once you pop that off, there's a 17mm bolt holding that on, or nut. Just remove that, jostle it back and forth as hard as you can. That will just simply pop off. There's a splined shaft there, so it will take some elbow grease to get it off, but it will come off. Next thing you want to do once that's off, you've got your clamshell here. You've got 4 screws on the bottom of this clamshell right underneath. So go ahead and remove those 4 Phillips screws. That will simply pop down and expose your turn signal wiper levers. You've got 2 Phillips head screws here. Go ahead and take those out. And then what you will do is just go underneath here, separate these harnesses. You've got a couple little, wire ties that are, keeping things nice and neat in there. So just separate those, separate your harnesses. And then once you fish them through, this is basically just going to pull out. Once that's off, you will go ahead and push your steering column down to remove the top clamshell. It's like a game of Tetris getting that thing out of there, but it will come out. And then you're ready to go ahead to the next steps of pulling the dash. You notice I already did pull the top cluster. Most of you all probably already know this, but there's just basically 1 Phillips screw here from the bottom, 1 here, and then there's 1 here and 1 here going through the cluster hood. Then it just pulls off, unplug the 2 harnesses in the back for the headlight switches, and then you've got an 8mm nut here and an 8mm nut on the other side, and then you just pull that, unplug your cluster, and everything's exposed, so you're done there. Okay, kind of starting top from bottom. You've got your 2 vents here, 1 on either side of the dash. Go ahead and pop those off. That's going to expose a 10mm nut that you need to take out, or 10mm bolt, I should say. Then same thing on the side of the dash. You've got your trim panels on either side. That's exposing 2 10mm bolts. Go ahead and pop those off and take those out. Then go here to your fuse panel. You've got 4 Phillips screws. Go ahead and remove those, as well as your handle for your hood latch. Then you're basically going to go along the underneath side of your dashboard. And you've got 1, 2, 3, and a 4th hidden back there that you'll want to take out here on the underside, and you pretty much got 4 or 5, same thing underneath the glove box on the other side. Once you've done that, go ahead and remove both of those Phillips screws from either side of the radio trim and remove your ashtray, and you've got a few Phillips heads there as well. Now, one thing that's a little bit tricky, even fools me the first few times I did it, you've got a few up under here right in the middle. You'll see there's a screw, and there's also a 10mm bolt there, and there's 1 there. Once you have everything else out, you'll be tugging at it thinking you got everything, and the middle of the dash won't move, and that's usually where it gets hung up. So gonna make our way on the other side of the car here. Again, trim piece off, your 2 10mm bolts there, the 1 there. And then you have 1 that's holding in the HVAC control unit, which you can see right there underneath of that gold bracket. That's all that's holding in the HVAC unit. So you do not have to disconnect anything from the front of the dash. You can simply remove that screw with a long Phillips screwdriver, and then the HVAC panel will come out along with the dashboard itself. And then you'll just have to unplug the 2 plugs once you get the dash pulled out far enough to be able to reach those. So go ahead and pull out your clock, which is just taking a flathead screwdriver and popping that out and unplugging the harness. There's no bolt behind there or anything. And then you have 1 bolt there in that hole. Same there. Believe it or not, that pretty much covers it. Once you've got all those loosened up, just start tugging on that dashboard and it's going to start to come out. And if it is bound on something, you're obviously going to feel that. But you'll also want to make sure once you pull it like maybe a foot away from the glass or so, once you know it's freed up, then just go ahead and unplug your AC vents as well as a couple of the harnesses that are behind the dash, but there's not really much. It'll just come out, and I would say if you move along pretty quickly, you can literally pull this dash in about 15 to 20 minutes. First time it'll take you longer, and then you'll feel like there's really not much to it. So any questions, feel free to give me a shout. Once again, this is Steve with Starquest Parts, which is at www.starquestparts.net. Thanks a lot. Hope to make some more of these videos as time goes along. Take care.